All right, guys, so I'm over here. You pull it, right? So I already have accelerated pedal position sensor. Accelerator pedal position sensor. As DIY Hemi explains, you can get them off Mercedes, right? So I had to come here for, every time I come here, I look for these types of these parts because these sensors go bad a lot. So last time I was here, none of the M classes had the sensor on it, right? So, you know, when you go to You Pull It, you just look up Mercedes-Benz M class, and you just go search them. But right here, you know, these are like $100 something new. Just, and all you do is you just take off these two 10mm bolts, unlatch the spring. You can either unclip it, or you can cut the wires and save the actual connector, you know, especially if it's your first time doing the swap and you're looking for something, and then you just take this little ball off, or you can just take the whole thing and the cable. But to me, for my application, I just need this because I already built the bracket for the kickdown cable for the transmission. So I just take these off, take them off. Today, I think I ended up with 8 of them, and I'll probably pay like 15-20 bucks. But you know, if one goes out, I just swap it out, no problem. You know, 10-15 bucks maybe a piece, opposed to having to buy a new one for 100 bucks, 200 bucks. Some of them, they're pretty expensive, man. But there's a bunch of them. I think it goes from like M class from 1999 to like 2001, I think, is the latest, but that's what it is. My thoughts on the whole bell crank for the APP sensor using the kickdown cable. So the goal originally was to use what I had, make it work, right? So that's why I used the bracket for the cables to attach, because the actual cables fit into the bracket where the throttle body is. The original kickdown cable setup. Cables were different lengths and stuff because of where I was putting it on the firewall, right? So you had to adjust the cables, and then you had to play with the little hooks and stuff like that. You know, so my thoughts on it, I mean, it was gonna work. You know, I was just unsure on how long it was gonna work for with those little hooks that hooked onto the ball ends of the actuator, right? But I mean, it worked. It was gonna, you know, it did on both ends. So all that information on this is still good and good to use. You can mount that bracket wherever you want, you know. So if you are gonna keep the Dodge transmission, like the 46RE or some of the other ones, I forgot the name, you know, the names of the other ones, to have a kickdown cable, yeah, you know, you could do it this way and you won't have to spend a lot, right? You can buy a bracket and attachment and stuff, I guess, you know. I think they make them by now, because this was, what, 2 years ago? Because this project has taken about 2 years. It's not that. It's because I haven't been working on it for 2 years. So, but anyway, so my thoughts as far as what I would change to do is, I think what I would change would be on it, would find a better location, I guess, you know. Or the other idea you can have too is you can still use electronic pedal, but you can use the kickdown cable. Oh shoot, my hood's closed. You can use the kickdown cable and run it through the firewall and attach it to the electronic pedal. Attach it to the pedal, so when you hit the pedal will pull on the kickdown cable. Work that way. You can also do that, right? You know, I know people do it that way. I didn't really want to fabricate the gas pedal, but as you see on the series on the electronic throttle, there wasn't a lot of fabricating on the pedal. It was pretty easy. So that yeah, you know, in the wiring stuff, it's can get a little challenging. And, you know, when I first started wiring it, I had a lot of uncertainties in what I was doing. So it took a long time for me to figure it out. But we figured it out with the gas pedal and the kickdown cable. So you'll get a video series on the gas pedal one too. But yeah, so as far as the fabbing of it, maybe a different location, or maybe even just doing it to the gas pedal would have probably saved me a lot. Doing an electronic gas pedal and hooking up the cable might have saved a little bit more work. But either way, either one of them would have worked. So there's the thoughts on that. And then I'll give you a video on the wiring for the bellcrank APP sensor with the kickdown cable.